Hi, I'm Christina Trauthwein, VP of Content and Partnerships at Hotel Business, and I'm here with Rachel Moniz, and she's the Principal and Chief Operating Officer at HEI Hotels Resorts. Welcome.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about HEI and its portfolio of luxury, lifestyle, and independent hotels, and where does it stand now, and how and where are you planning to grow?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Well, I can tell you that HEI's portfolio is the reason that people join our company. It's the reason that I believe owners want to do business with us. It's an amazing portfolio. We're obviously approved to manage for all of the brands, but our space tends to stay in the upper upscale premium luxury space. We've been really growing our independent portfolio, which has been really exciting. And we've also been growing among some other brands like Kimpton and Wyndham and things like that, which has been a lot of fun.
Well, I see like independence is a big area of growth for a lot of companies right now. Can you speak to that a little bit? Like, why do you see such a growth in that area?
In the independent arena? Well, I think that as we see a lot of big companies with a lot of brands, things tend to look a little similar. And I think people are really looking for that product that's going to stand out in a marketplace. And then from a real estate perspective, when you've got an independent hotel, there tends to be less red tape. So if you're trying to implement, for example, some kind of fee or something like that, you can usually do it much faster in the independent space. So the way that we look at hotels isn't just RevPAR or just one particular metric. It's actually total profitability per unit available. And when you start looking at things that way, you really have to think about all the incremental additional revenue, but also the expense associated with each unit available. So not having franchise fees and not having additional, fee to sort of go against your revenues obviously makes for more profitability. So we look at those types of things and we think that the independent space is really exciting for those reasons. Obviously there's challenges with it too because you don't necessarily have the brand muscle that is so important, but it's a great space to continue to grow in.
Great. So you're responsible for day-to-day operations, and you oversee the regional leaders, work with hotel asset managers, and ownership representatives.
Yeah.
So what does your day look like, and what value proposition do you offer these owners?
Yeah. Well, my day looks very different from day to day. I do travel a lot. I think we as a company are sort of in the weeds with our hotels. We like to get into the details. And so that means that you have to ground yourself sometimes in order to look at all the data and make sure you're making good decisions and also see early indicators and not be reactive, but we consider ourselves to be pretty proactive. And ultimately, we're all trying to grow real estate value. That's what everyone in my firm is doing for our owners. So for me, I do like to go to the hotels. I do like to meet with the teams. Usually I'm meeting an owner at the hotel so we can talk through what the business plan is. We have to be nimble right now because we're having to pivot based on the marketplace we encounter. And that changes from month to month as we navigate this year. If you look at, 2022, we saw things sort of like the step recovery and things started to improve every month, got a little bit better. We're not necessarily seeing that in 2023. So being really nimble, talking through the business plan, making changes. We all did our budgets in October of 2022 and, we're in a forecast environment and things are changing. So I like to make sure that we're aligned on what we're doing to acquire business, how we're putting efficiencies in place to make sure it makes sense. Check the health of the team, of the marketplace, of the brand, all of those things. So that's, sort of the work that we're doing. The other thing about our company is that we've got, access to all of the information that is being reported. So we have a data warehouse and it's important for us that we're mining that data, again, in order to make the right business decisions and be strategic.
Okay. So you received an honor earlier this year, and it was the Paving the Way Award from the AHLA for your exemplary leadership skills. What does this award mean to you, and how have you helped pave the way not only for HEI but for the industry?
Yeah. No, it was a real honor to obviously shine a light more so on the mission. I'm about the mission more than the award or the accolade. And the mission is to improve gender parity at the GM level in hotels, which it's definitely we're not there, particularly in hotels that we manage, which is the luxury lifestyle, sort of premium hotels. And then also, so what I did or do in my organization is I work with all of the females that are sort of on that track to become a general manager, create opportunities for them, work with owners to help me sponsor them, to give them those opportunities, whether it's task force or a permanent role. And the ownership communities responded really well for the most part, which is great. And there's still a lot of work to be done. But it's not just about saying things like we've got to be intentional, like saying that, but actually like doing that work. Right. That's really important. And I obviously have an amazing team that's so supportive again of the mission. And so I was really happy to receive the award, mainly because I wanted to shine a light on the issue with gender parity in our very male landscape. Yes, and speaking of gender parity and a mission, you also lead the HEI Women in Leadership Council. Yep. So what are some of your achievements there, and what goals do you still hope to accomplish? Yeah, so I would like by the end of this year at the GM level to be at 40% gender parity, so female to male, and then we won't stop until we have equal 50-50. It's amazing to me that men and women come into this industry at equal 50-50, and then as they start to advance through hotels, women end up leaving, and because they make decisions about their career before maybe they even encounter a problem. So I'm trying to keep them on that track if that's what they'd like to do and not give up. In addition to Women in Leadership, because it's so successful, we started the program. We only had like 3 female general managers, and now we're at 29% gender parity, which is great. So when we started the program, we started with 8 people. There's another problem that we've identified in our industry, and that's that we don't have underrepresented racial minorities at the GM level. And sometimes they intersect women, underrepresented racial minorities. But we started another program called Leaders Breaking Barriers. And that's another council that I co-chair. Again, we started with 8 people. We've already seen 4 general manager promotions. And again, these are first-time general managers that probably should have been general managers many years ago. And they just needed that extra sponsorship and experience and program to get them there. So I'm really proud of that. And I think this is, part of doing the right work. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those are all things that are really important to me. And I want to make sure that people continue to rise. I think that's great. You have a lot on your plate already with your role, but I think it's so important to speak to your passions and to help this industry evolve a bit. So yeah, and I think it's about doing the right thing. Absolutely. And we're going to end it there then. Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. I enjoyed it.